beautiful day. And look at the cherry blossoms all along the road, even right below the Haengja. Next weekend, the city plans a cherry blossom festival down this road in front of us. I think they're going to be 1 week late. Actually, every year, Dongaksa has, in front of Dongaksa, they have a cherry blossom festival with many food and a stage with singing and many things. Dae Bong Sunim once gave a talk because that year, the weekend of the cherry blossom festival, the blossoms hadn't opened yet. But already everything was set up. Many people brought their businesses to set things up. So they had the festival, and it ended, the blossoms still weren't open. And the following weekend, no festival, but the cherry blossoms opened. So Dae Bong Sunim gave a Dharma talk about how nature doesn't follow human beings' idea. So for some reason, we felt we can control nature, but we can harmonize with nature, but control nature is not possible. Anyway, today and this last week is very beautiful. Many flowers opening and new grasses starting to appear. Soon little green leaves will appear. So nature opening up again. So I hope we also this season open our hearts, open our minds to this world, to life, to others, to everything. About 1,300 years ago in China, there was a great Zen master named Gu Ji. You probably already know his story, but I want to tell it anyway. This seemed to be Zen Master Seung's favorite story to tell, especially in Korea, but all over the world. So Gu Ji was a great sutra master in China. And he was famous all over China, so that many, many monks came to live at his temple and learn the sutras from him. It was said that Gu Ji understood all the Buddhist sutras and could talk about any of them. One day he was a little tired, and so he sat down in the yard next to his house in the temple under a tree and was reading a sutra. Then the gate to his area of the temple suddenly opened loudly, and a very tall nun came walking in. She had a big hat and a very tall stick with 6 rings on the top. And she walked in and stood right in front of Gu Ji. Then she didn't bow or anything. She started walking around the tree 3 times, banging the stick on the ground with every step. Then Gu Ji became very angry. With every step and every bang of the stick, his anger went up, up, up. This nun was very bad behavior, very impolite. So Gu Ji became more and more angry until his face turned red. After walking around him 3 times, the nun just stood in front of him. She didn't take off her hat. She didn't bow to him, nothing. She said, "I am Shurche Bhikkhuni. Are you Gu Ji?" Then he said, "So what?" Then she said, "You teach Buddhist sutras, but I don't like the sutras. I don't like Buddhist speech. I want one word, your true speech." Then Gu Ji was shocked by her arrogance, but he started checking his computer. There's a very good computer up here we have. He started checking his computer around, but everything in there is only Buddhist sutras. He couldn't find anything his own speech. Finally, this bhikkhuni said to him, "You don't know your own speech. How can you teach Buddhist speech?" Then she turned and walked away. Then this speech really hit Buddha's mind. many, many years, I only read a Buddhist speech, talking Buddhist speech. I don't even know my own speech. How can I teach a Buddhist speech? He's shocked. After some time, he got up and went into his room. He called his attendant and told him, you tell Ibsung Sunim, hit the temple bell 5 times. That was the signal in the temple, something important. Everybody must go to the great Buddha hall. That time, everybody's working around the temple or out in the fields. Then they shocked, why this temple bell hitting now? But everybody stopped what they were doing, put on their robes, and went to the great Buddha hall. When they had all gathered, Gu Ji appeared in his full ceremonial robes. Then everybody bowed to him. Then he said, today one bhikkhuni Sunim came to see me. And he told the story. Then he said, this bhikkhuni finally said, you don't know your own true speech. How can you teach Buddhist speech? He said, this bhikkhuni Sunim was correct. I don't even understand my own true speech. How can I teach a Buddhist speech? So I am sorry to everyone. I've only been reading Buddhist speech my whole life, not practicing correctly. So I cannot teach you anymore. There are many great sutra teachers in China, so you please go and study with them. Or even better, go to the Zen halls and practice, find correct practice. Now I am closing this temple. I only go to my room and find a correct direction and correct practice. Then he got down and went back to his room. All the students were shocked. Many people started talking. What does he mean? Closing the temple? Why is that? Everybody had many opinions. Some of the monks went to his room and tried to talk to him, but Gu Ji wouldn't come out. Some monks soon packed up and left to go to other temples. Others stayed and tried to talk to Gu Ji, but he wouldn't talk to anyone and only told his attendant, tell them to go away. Then Gu Ji told his attendant, you only bring me 1 meal a day and stay here, take care of things. Slowly, after the next 2 months, people began to pack up and leave and go to other places. Finally, after 2 months, the temple was empty except for Gu Ji and the attendant. The word of what had happened spread all over China, and sometimes monks would appear trying to see Gu Ji. But he always told his attendant, tell them to go away. I will not talk to anyone. Gu Ji only sat all day and all night in his room with this big question. What is my true speech? What am I? And he didn't know. Almost 2 years passed. Only Gu Ji sat in meditation and once a day ate a small meal. One night around midnight, there was banging on the temple gate, the big temple gate. Even though it was far away from Gu Ji's room, it was late at night and everything was quiet. Gu Ji could hear that. After some time, the attendant woke up and went to the front gate. Then he shouted through the gate, go away, go away. Then someone on the other side said, I want to see Gu Ji. I want to see the Sutra Master Gu Ji. Then the attendant said, he won't see anyone. Go away. No, I want to see Gu Ji. Then this went back and forth for maybe 20, 30 minutes. Gu Ji could hear the sound of their voices and again, energy coming up until finally Gu Ji, very angry, opened his door and walked down to the front gate. Then Gu Ji shouted through the front gate, go away, nobody can come in. Then on the other side of the gate, the person said, are you Gu Ji? I want to see you. I am Choryang. Then that hit Gu Ji's mind. He knew Choryang was the teacher of the bhikkhuni Sunim Shirche. Gu Ji was practicing and thought, if I get enlightenment, I want to go visit Choryang. But Choryang came here. Then Gu Ji opened the gate and bowed and said, oh, I am sorry. Come in. Then Choryang came inside the temple gate and said, "Oh, no, I came to say, I am sorry. My Bhikkhuni Sunim came here and made a problem and you closed the temple." Then Gu Ji said, no, your Bhikkhuni Sunim didn't make a problem. She was correct. I only read Buddha's words. I didn't understand the correct direction, correct practicing. So your student, Bhikkhuni Sunim, was correct. No problem. Then Choryang said, "Oh, okay, that's good. Then it was late at night, so Gu Ji said, "Please come to my quarters and we'll get some food and some tea." Then they sat together for a while, and after the Zen master had a little food, Gu Ji said, "Sir, I have a question. May I ask you?" Then Choryang said, "Yes, of course." But Gu Ji wouldn't ask him until he got Choryang to sit on the high seat. Then Gu Ji put on his full ceremonial robes and his big kasa and bowed 3 times to Choryang. Then he kneeled in front of Choryang and with his hands in hapchang. Then Choryang said, "Do you have a question? Any kind of question." Then Gu Ji said, "I don't like Buddha's sutras. I don't like Buddha's speech. I want one word, your true speech." Same as Shilche Bhikkhuni asked Gu Ji 2 years before. "What is one word, your true speech?" And Choryang only sat there. Then he slowly raised one finger. Gu Ji saw that, attained great enlightenment. And he bowed deeply to Choryang, and he became a Zen master, transmission from Choryang at that time. After that, Gu Ji moved to a small Haengja and only lived there with a young attendant. Many people around China heard that Gu Ji had attained enlightenment. Sometimes monks or nuns would travel to visit him in his Haengja. Anytime someone asked him a question, he only answered by raising one finger. So many years passed like that. One time, Gu Ji's attendant was a young boy. One morning, Gu Ji said, "Oh, today I must go down the mountain to town. I will come back late in the day. You take care of our Haengja." Then Gu Ji left. Sometime in the afternoon, some monk appeared at the Haengja. Then he banged on the door and the attendant went to see him. Then this monk said, "I want to see Gu Ji Zen Master. Is he here? Can I see him?" Then the attendant said, "I am sorry, my teacher went away and he won't come back till late." Then this monk said, "That's too bad. I came very far and I can't stay long. I really want to meet Gu Ji and get his teaching, his Dharma. I guess my karma not so good." Then the young attendant said, "Oh, you want my teacher's Dharma?" "Yes, I hope to ask a question and get his teaching." Then the attendant said, "I know my teacher's Dharma." Then this monk, "Really?" "Yeah, I know his Dharma. I can teach you." Then this monk, very happy, "Can I come in?" Then the attendant said, "Yeah, you come in." Then the attendant put on Gu Ji's robe and kasa and climbed up on the high stand. Then he told the big monk, "You bow." So this monk put on his big kasa and bowed 3 times. Then the attendant said, "Do you have a question? Any kind of question, no problem." Then this big monk said, "Many years I practiced Buddhism. Then I think Buddha saw a star and got enlightenment. What was it Buddha attained? So I ask you, what did Buddha attain?" Then the attendant didn't say anything. He only slowly raised one finger. Then this hit the big monk's mind, and he bowed and said, thank you for your teaching," and he left. On the way down the mountain, he met a monk who was coming up. Then as they were approaching each other, this big monk said, "Are you Gu Ji Zen Master?" Then he said, "Yes, I am Gu Ji." Then this monk said, "Thank you for your teaching," bowed and kept going. Then Gu Ji thought, "What's that? My teaching?" Then he thought, my attendant doing something. So when he got back to the Haengja, he shouted, "Attendant, attendant, come here." Then this young boy came over, and Gu Ji said, "Today, did some visitor, some big monk come here?" Then attendant said, "Yes, some big monk came here." "What did he do here?" Gu Ji said. "Oh, he wanted your teaching." "So, what did you do, attendant?" "Oh, I gave him your teaching, your Dharma." Then Gu Ji said, "You understand my Dharma? What is my Dharma?" Then this boy raised one finger. At that moment, Gu Ji took out the knife he used to cut his hair and cut the boy's finger. The boy was shocked. He grabbed his finger and started running from the room, screaming in pain. As he got near the door, Gu Ji shouted, "Attendant!" Then the attendant turned and looked at Gu Ji. Then Gu Ji raised one finger. The boy was suddenly enlightened. So that's a famous story. When Gu Ji was about to die, he gave a talk to many people who had come. He said, "I attained the one-finger Zen of Choryang, and I used it my whole life, and I never exhausted it." Then after saying that, he sat up and died. So did everybody get enlightenment? Oh, somebody raised one finger. So this story was, I think, Seung San's favorite story. I heard it many, many times, so I decided today I want to tell this story. Sometimes I heard Seung San tell the story in Korean to Korean people, and it was still fun and interesting. Even though I didn't know the words he was saying, you knew from the rhythm of his talking what part of the story he was talking about. At the end of the morning bell chant, it says, "The blue mountain of many ridges is the Buddha's body. The sound of the bird's song and the sound of the waterfall are the great sutras." So today is a beautiful day outside. Birds and wind and sun and cherry blossoms and people talking on the road. So let's go outside and get enlightenment. And before that, come to lunch. Lunchtime, mani mani tuseyo.